You had one fucking job. One job, and you screwed it up. What the fuck, Sony?
Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Level 2 Couch Conversation here. Tom McKee again, and
Hi.
this comes on the heels of kind of a few things that have happened recently. Let's talk about first about the PlayStation Neo, the next generation, not generation, but half generation game thing that fucking came out, or announced coming out soon.
4.5.
4.5, PS4 Pro, which, whatever. We did a live stream on it. You can watch our live reactions after the event. I don't think they've changed much since then.
I think they've gotten worse. I've gotten progressively more annoyed about it.
See, I've gone a little bit the other direction
Really?
because I kind of understand, like, if you don't have a PS4, I could get why you'd want this to future-proof stuff, but
Right.
those of us who own PS4s,
So
it feels like a slap in the face.
So here's where I stand on that particular subject of the Pro, and that is that after watching the event, which we streamed,
above
I
us.
felt as though I was not missing out,
Mhm.
which in a way, as a gamer, the little gamer inside of me was super stoked about, because I'm like, well, wow, cool, I don't have to get it.
I'll have to
Because
drop
I was pretty
$400.
confident I was going to be fucking picking one up. Because I fanboy Sony hard, and, you know, that's a personal bias. We try not to bring it into the channel.
But it's true. I mean, I have a Nintendo
He
bias.
fanboys Nintendo, I fanboy Sony.
Microsoft
kind of
kinda
like
in the
Microsoft.
middle.
Yeah, well, you know, no one hates anyone.
Yeah,
We're
we're all gamers.
all friends here.
Yes.
So after watching it, I was kind of like, well, cool. It looks like I don't actually have to buy one, which made me happy. But then I started thinking about it, and I started comparing it to what Microsoft's
The Scorpio was
going on.
6 teraflops. If
Yeah.
Microsoft, I think a day after that, kind of said Scorpio is now going. They confidently said Scorpio will be the most powerful gaming console because I
Yeah.
think they just didn't know what the Neo was or the PS4 Pro. Now, Neo to me is way cooler name than PS4 Pro.
Yeah,
Still call it the Neo.
it is weird when they use Matrix
yeah.
names for everything.
And Morpheus.
But
yeah, it's one of those things where it feels like
they underpowered it, man.
yeah,
It wasn't.
it felt like Sony had to convince themselves that they needed to sell this.
I think
That's what it felt like.
I don't know whether they underpowered it necessarily, or whether we, as a gaming community,
Expected more.
overhyped it.
Yeah.
Because I think that, if you remember, the initial rumors came from leaks from Sony's camp. So it was a case of like, oh, Sony's working on this secret thing.
Yep.
But I don't think Sony really wanted to make that big of a deal out of it. And it almost felt like they were forced to make this press conference, and they
Yeah.
were forced to sort of talk about the thing. And even though there are going to be many, many benefits to that console, they are also lacking a lot of things that the consumers asked for. For example, your ultra high definition Blu-ray situation. That's pissed off more people than I can.
PSVR, we get nicer frame rates, but that's about all they said. I mean, it's just weird because, like, again, kind of like you said, I don't know if we overhyped it or expected more or whatever maybe, but I feel like after kind of having time to think on it, what kind of bugs me more than anything else is that price tag.
Yeah.
It's less than I thought it was going to be, but it's still, if you look at the Microsoft, the Xbox One S, which came out earlier this year, it's $299 for everything that this thing has inside, plus that Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what irks me a little bit more than anything else is the fact that it's $100 more.
King
for
of
that.
Blu-ray as well. So
Yeah, it's their format.
Yeah, so it's like
Sony
why-
fucking owns Blu-ray. They
So,
didn't put
yeah.
in their own shit.
It was
Good job, Sony.
It was weird. That was definitely what we would call a ball drop. And then some news we had after that, which pissed me off more than the whole Pro announcement thing. Sony said they don't want to do mods for any of the games that are being allowed to have mods on console.
Which is weird because you would assume Bethesda's the one who kind of came out and said Sony said this. Sony said no to us. Because the reason was, I should have looked at the exact quote, but the reason was essentially Sony would not allow Bethesda to have mods as they wanted them to have mods on the console, which probably means Sony wanted to have their hand inside of it and said, you can do this, you can't do that.
They didn't want to do anything that would get them in trouble.
Yes, I kind of understand it, but at the same time, it's like, if you're going to make a mod, let somebody make a mod.
And you got to wonder, like, as a giant global conglomerate of a company, if Microsoft is sat there going, yeah, sure, then why are you so scared,
And
Sony? What is it you think is going to happen? What is the bad side
of
of
this.
giving your consumers
The bad,
more
the
things?
bad side right now is I assume Bethesda talked to Sony before they said that. Before they,
Oh, yeah.
not before this announcement. Well,
They wouldn't go ahead and say, "Oh, this is coming onto
It's
PS4,"
gonna
and
have
then
mods.
suddenly backtrack.
It does not. So that's what makes me more mad than anything else, because I'm assuming, again, I don't know 100% because I don't know anybody in Sony or Bethesda. That would be
they
awesome.
180'd it.
But I assume somebody said, okay, we'll let you do this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's kind of like Bethesda came back and said, hey, here's the details and let's do it. But again, that's another thing. Microsoft started off this generation absolute garbage. I think we all agree they went the way of the PS3 and kind of butchered their launch. The launch of the Xbox One.
Well, they
was
butchered the pre-launch,
bad.
didn't they? They didn't even have to launch the thing. Like the stuff that was coming out
TV,
press-wise before they even
DRM,
announced the thing pissed everyone off. But I think that Microsoft have clawed it back very well at this point.
And what scares me, I think, more than anything else is obviously, I've said it many times, I was not a PS4 guy. I was not a Sony guy before the PS4. Or not a PS4. I am a PS4 guy now. But it's one of those things where, like, Microsoft right now, in this mid-cycle upgrade system that we've got going on, if the Scorpio is that awesome, what's preventing people from jumping ship back to Microsoft? Because a lot of people like me jump from Microsoft to Sony because of what they're doing.
You know, they will. And I don't think there is anything
it's
preventing
scary.
them is the answer to that question.
I'm hoping Sony has something up their sleeve. Like the PS4 Pro, they're like kind of like, yeah, we did this. That's the thing we felt like we had to do. But by the way, over here, we've been working on this, and this is going to be our PS5 or whatever it is.
I don't want to see a new console. I just want them to make it right. I want them to be the company that supports indie development, that supports
which is what they've been
the
doing.
gamers, that, you know, and taking mods away from people that are so, like, have been waiting for so fucking long.
And it's so
for
weird
mods to
because,
come
like,
to
Sony
console.
did everything, in my opinion, not everything, but did most things up to this point really right. And this
Yeah.
last, like, 3 weeks, 2
Yeah.
weeks, they kind of said, oops.
Yeah, and then the other thing was the PS Plus going up. And then
there's no reasoning why.
And no benefit to it.
Yes.
Like when we're looking at every month, Sony, if you're watching, every month we sit there and go, what are they going to release free with PS Plus this time around? And then we look at what Xbox has going on, and then we feel shitty every month.
This month wasn't too bad.
They've been getting better, but they're still nowhere near.
Was it 2 or 3 months ago where I was like, I don't care about any of this.
Yeah, you can't justify price hikes with what is there right now.
Prime example is the same month that I got, I don't even remember what games I got on. It was fucking Tricky Tower and whatever the other one was last month. On Xbox, I got WWE, old last year's thing, for free, which is fine because the new one's going to come out soon, but I never played that old one, so it's a new game to me. So I don't have an issue with them kind of doing the older games to it. Obviously, they're not going to do something they're not going to do Uncharted 4 as the free game right now.
Even if they're releasing like stuff like
Knack.
Beyond Two Souls or Heavy Rain or some of those like remastered versions, Last of Us, like The Last of Us was a fucking launch title pretty much for PS4. Why has that not been a free release yet? You know, it's a fucking
and it's a first party
exclusive.
title. That's the other thing. It's a first that they don't have to talk to anybody about that. I can kind of understand with third parties involved.
There's not going to be any more DLC for that game. There's not going to be any more sales for that game until, you know, you start pumping out another one. So it seems like a good example of something to give away for free. I've already paid for it, but I'm sure there are plenty of people that would enjoy that type of game. And I feel like even stuff like Knack and things like that, they haven't really been doing any of that. We haven't seen Killzone. We haven't seen any of these like launch title games that they could easily
gives you a reason to have a PS4. I mean, I don't know. It's. I think what it was essentially was Sony's like, why are we charging 50? Microsoft charging 60.
Yeah.
I think Sony. So I'm not going to justify anything they did, but I'm going to give some sort of reasoning to it. As I think what happened was, PSN used to be free, and they realized they couldn't charge as much as Microsoft because it wasn't as good as Microsoft. Let's be honest.
But
Microsoft
to be
was
honest,
better.
the games when it was free were better.
That's true. Yeah, but now it gets to like, okay, we now have charged people. They're cool with it. Now let's charge what Microsoft charging because we think we're just as good because we're the top dog. And it's one of those things where like every fucking console has done this. When they're top dog, they find some way to screw it up and say, you know what? I don't know if it's arrogance or what, but they don't think they can do anything wrong. But
I just
don't
think
know.
it's I hope it's a series of unfortunate events.
Yes.
And that Sony will take their thumb out of their ass and...
Because as gamers, we want every company to be successful. I
yeah,
mean, there's
like we have no
don't have anybody
dog
burning.
in this race. We both love Sony because we have PS4s.
We
I've
have an
loved
Xbox
Sony
One.
from the beginning.
I
He has
hated
an Xbox
I
One.
hated Sony from the beginning.
Yeah,
That's
and
because
it's-
it's Nintendo.
You know, and I think that Sony do so much right, and really the only profitable part of that company is PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let it go down the hill, because if it goes down the hill, you got nothing left, guys. You
Yep.
got nothing left. So we're begging you to
Stop making us
reconsider
go-
the mod situation.
Yeah, stop making us go, what the fuck?
Stop
Like,
making us say what the fuck. Do something about the Pro. I know it's kind of done now, and you've made it, and you can't really backtrack on it, but at least add on something that will make gamers happy. Do something.
Do something.
We're still fans. We will be fans regardless. But at the same time, you guys need to know you're fucking up right now, and we really hope that
Don't go the way of
improves.
Nintendo, please.
Yeah,
Please don't do that. I don't think they will. But
You
don't.
can't break Keegan's heart twice.
Twice,
Once is enough.
dude. But seriously, what the fuck, Sony? What do you guys think? Do you think Sony's screwing up? Do you think it's just a stumble? Do you think they just stubbed their toe? What do you think this is going on with here? What's your thought on the Pro? Let us know down below. And thanks for watching, guys.
As always.
Welcome to the second level.
Bye.
Bye.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching that video, and if you want some more, then just keep, clicking those links on the side of the page there until you find one that you like. It's really not that hard.